Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is warning the army is on standby to restart its war on Gaza. It comes a day after Israel suspended the latest release of Palestinian prisoners as part of January's ceasefire deal.
We are prepared to resume intense fighting at any moment. Our operational plans are ready. Let me state our core policies. In Gaza, we have eliminated most of Hamas's organised forces, but let there be no doubt we will complete the war's objectives entirely, including this one. This can be achieved either through negotiation or by other means.
Let's bring in Basem Naim, a member of Hamas's political bureau. Many thanks for being with us. What is Hamas's response to Israel withholding the release of 620 Palestinian prisoners?
Thank you very much. And let me start with the condemnation of all words towards the Israeli offensive in the northern part of the West Bank, and unfortunately the silence of the international community towards what's happening there, the continuous killing and destruction against our refugees in the different refugee camps in the north. I think we have signed an agreement on January 19th, and this agreement, this deal, signed from both parties, and with the guarantees of the mediators, the Qataris, the Egyptians, and the Americans, we have fulfilled all our obligations according to the deal. We were committed strictly to the deal. Unfortunately, all the time, Netanyahu and his government were trying to undermine the deal, to sabotage the deal. They have committed a lot of violations, killed more than 100 Palestinians, prevented most of the basic needs of the Palestinians to enter the Gaza Strip. And lastly, he has refused to release more than 600 Palestinians prisoners according to the deal, because we have released the 6 living Israelis plus.
But what is Hamas's response to these violations?
We have said it, and we have conveyed a clear and strong message to the mediators. We cannot continue talking or discussing any further steps if these 620 Palestinians are not released.
So when you say you're not going to continue discussing further steps, so if we look at the immediate future, Hamas was due to release 4 bodies of Israeli captives this week. Is that going to go ahead?
All options are on the table because before going to the next step, we have to be sure that the past step, which is releasing 620 prisoners, are already released, because Netanyahu is clearly sending strong messages that he is intentionally sabotaging the deal. He is preparing the atmosphere for returning back to the war. Therefore, what are the guarantees that he might take the other 4 bodies and again not release the agreed upon number of Palestinians plus the 620 Palestinians? Therefore, all options on the table, not only the what should happen on Thursday, but even the other elements of the deal.
Yeah, phase 2. I want to get to that in just a second. First of all, I just want to put to you that Israel says it will release the 620 Palestinian prisoners if Hamas changes the way it hands over Israeli captives. Israel is calling these ceremonies with the stage and the captives being brought up onto the stage and holding certificates humiliating. Is Hamas willing to do that, to make those changes?
First of all, he can describe it as he will, but if he considers this as a humiliation, I think ICRC and a lot of human rights bodies have documented and bring a lot of proofs that our prisoners 3-4 days before being released are taken to isolation cells and tortured 24 hours, starved. Their families were threatened not to show any sign of joy that they have received, that they are receiving their children after 20, 30, 40 years. I think we are ready to discuss any option, any proposal if it comes to the shape. But we want also to be sure that our prisoners are dealing with them in a respectful way. Second, I think we don't see this as a humiliation. We have seen spontaneous acts from the prisoners, from the Israeli prisoners, who for Netanyahu were outrageous, like kissing the head of one of the fighters. No one asked him to do it, but he did it spontaneously. I think this was not a humiliation. This is he decided to do it alone. Lastly, I think it is not about the shape, because we have a lot of violations. Again, more than 100 Palestinians killed. If he is talking about humiliation, he is already killing Palestinians.
I understand the use of the word humiliating is provoking, but I also want to get to the bottom of if this is the only thing that is preventing the release of 620 Palestinian prisoners. Is it a concession that Hamas is willing to make?
Yes, we are ready to discuss all these issues, but we want to be sure that he is taking the decision to release our prisoners.
So what efforts are being made then to have these discussions, to have these movements forward in this sticking point?
Again, if you can repeat it again, please.
What efforts are currently being made? What dialogue is happening to free up this sticking point, to get past this?
We were in contact in the last 24, 48 hours with the mediators, and we have discussed all these points. But again, we have said it clearly, we cannot discuss any points further if he is not deciding to release the 620 prisoners according to the deal. Otherwise, we are ready to discuss any options which can facilitate to implement the deal according to the document we have signed.
I just want to look ahead to the day after, because you mentioned at the beginning of this interview the situation in the occupied West Bank. There's been a lot of criticism of the Palestinian Authority not speaking out against Israel's moving in of tanks to Jenin for the first time in more than 2 decades. The Palestinian Authority, the PA, has been positioned by many to be taking over control, at least partly, of Gaza. Does Hamas share that view of Gaza's future? And what role would Hamas want to play in it?
I think Hamas, before October 7th, not only after, we have said it many times, we are ready to give up running Gaza Strip, governing Gaza Strip. We are ready to hand over the government in the Gaza Strip to any Palestinian body representing all Palestinians, a unity government, a technocratic government, a special body formed only to run the Gaza Strip in cooperation or in coordination or as a reference with the government in Ramallah. We are ready to do it. Unfortunately, all these proposals are rejected from the PA leadership in Ramallah, and we have said they can come and they have all the facility or the facilitation to run everything inside Gaza Strip: health and education, security, crossings.
Basem Naim, I do apologize. We're going to have to jump in there because that brings us to the end of our show.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.